Meet Corliss Archer. And meet Dexter Franklin. They're going to be married someday. They'll tell you so if you ask them. And she's giving him a personality test that she found in the newspaper. You can't blame her. After all, a girl wants to know what kind of a man she's marrying.
Now for the last part. Word association test. Say the first word that comes into your mind. Black.
White.
Girl.
Boy.
Marriage.
Home.
Telephone.
Ring.
Just a minute now. I'll get your rating.
Well?
Oh, Dexter, I'm afraid you're going to make a very dull husband.
Why?
You're normal. Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe. I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
Oh, Mr. Archer, who's beating that poor horse to death?
Corliss is singing.
Oh. Well, I guess she needs some lessons. Maybe I can help her.
You?
Sure, I've been singing since I was in the cradle.
Oh, Dexter, would you hand me that paper before you go?
Oh, sure thing, Mr. Archer. I'll get it.
Watch out!
Here you are, Mr. Archer.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll go help Corliss with her singing.
Dexter? I know I'm going to hate myself for asking this. What did you sing in the cradle?
There'll be some changes made today. I'll go help Corliss. It was just...
I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
Having a nice, peaceful Saturday afternoon? You're sitting in a draft.
I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
What in the foggy blue morning is going on with that daughter of ours?
She's getting ready for the Glee Club tryouts next week.
Well, can't she finish a song, get it over with? Doesn't the Glee Club ever sing a whole number? What's the matter, can't they stand the sound of their own voices?
Oh, I don't know, dear. Ask Corliss. Excuse me, dear. Harry, you're sitting in a draft.
I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
Excuse me, dear.
Janet, what are you doing?
I'm cleaning house.
It isn't dirty.
You're not a woman.
Well, now, has it taken you all these years to arrive at that sage observation? Well, Janet, you've been hitting the furniture and waving the rag for the last 5 minutes, and I haven't seen one particle of dust. The house doesn't need cleaning.
Of course it does.
But, Janet...
You're sitting in a draft.
I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair,
Corliss.
born like a babe.
Corliss!
Yes, Daddy?
Corliss, is there some reason why you can't finish that song?
I'm embarrassed.
What?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'd even got enough nerve to go to the tryouts. The idea of standing up in front of all those people and singing terrifies me.
No, that's silly.
I don't know, Mr. Archer. How would you like to get up in front of a whole crowd of people with your Andante Cantabile showing?
I thought you were going to help her.
I am helping her. I'm showing her about breath control.
Where did you learn about breath control?
In a drugstore.
What?
Sure. I can drink a whole soda with one...
Give me a hand with the table, will you, Dexter?
Oh, sure thing, Mr. Archer.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you hurt yourself?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. The man can get along pretty well with 7.5 toes. Well, come on, we'll practice breath control.
You're sitting on a draft.
I dream. Oh!
What's the matter?
Make that 5.5 toes.
Some quiet afternoon at home. I'm going over to Bill's.
All right, dear.
Oh. Oh. Oh, no.
What's wrong?
I've got a stiff neck.
Dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
Being the head of a house sure takes a lot out of a man. It takes money out of his pocket, makes peace out of the question, and often drives him out of his mind.
Hello, anybody home?
Come on in, Bill.
Oh, hello, Janet. Harry home yet?
No, he stopped to see the doctor after he left the office.
Oh? He still got his Adam's apple in the deep freeze?
Bill, there's nothing funny about having a stiff neck. And I think you ought to have a little sympathy for your best friend.
Well, old Harry knows that I...
Hello, dear.
Hello, dear.
Well, if it isn't the petrified man.
Very funny. Your humor is divided half and half between wit and crack. Half wit and half crack.
All right, boys, that's enough.
Oh, just kidding, old man. How are you feeling?
Terrible.
What'd the doctor say, dear?
Some doctor. He gave me a complete physical examination, said he couldn't find anything wrong with me.
Examine your head?
Bill, I'm going to have to spank you and send you to bed. He didn't have to examine you to find anything wrong. Couldn't he see you have a stiff neck?
Well, he couldn't see what caused it or how to cure it.
Well, he should have examined your head. I'm serious. That stiff neck is probably psychosomatic.
What do you mean?
Well, it means that it wasn't anything physical. That's what the doctor said. So it must be something mental. It's a physical symptom of the psychological trouble.
Don't be silly. Harry hasn't any psychological trouble.
Of course he has. Everybody has. Well, that doesn't mean he's neurotic or crazy.
Thank you.
There's nothing unusual about psychosomatic pains and ailments. Everybody has them. Well, you get upset or nervous about something, you get, you break out in a rash, you get a sore back, a stiff arm, or almost anything.
That's all very interesting. But Harry has a stiff neck from sitting in a draft.
The doctor didn't think so.
He's not your wife.
Lucky guy.
You know, your humor's kind of sad, but you do get a good thought once in a while. You know, it's quite possible that this stiff neck is psychosomatic.
Oh, Harry, that's silly.
No, it isn't. I've heard a lot about psychosomatic illness. It's a very interesting field. I'm going to look into it.
Harry, you're a lawyer, not a psychiatrist.
Well, I can learn a little about psychiatry. Psychosomatics is a very important field. It's not to be...
Sneezes are tricky, sneaky things. As the poet says, life is oft times all serene, peaceful as the sky at e'en. Peace may be all over yous, and then it's wrecked by wild cachoos.
Oh, hi, Mr. Archer. Where's the...
I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, born like a vape.
Did you finish the book, dear?
Yes. And I learned something.
Oh?
It might interest you all to know that you were responsible for causing my stiff neck.
Holy cow, you mean we give you a pain in the neck?
That's rather crudely put, Dexter, but in effect, yes.
Golly, Daddy, I don't see how your getting a stiff neck was our fault.
Well, it wasn't, Corliss. Your father got a stiff neck from sitting in a draft.
I might have believed that too, Janet, if I hadn't taken the trouble to study a little psychiatry. Now, there's a case cited in one of those books. It's the case history of a certain Hans W. Now, this Hans W...
What does the W stand for?
I don't know. They don't give last names in case histories. Anyway...
Maybe it stood for Wagner.
In any case...
There was a Hans Wagner used to play shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll bet you that's who it was. Does it give his batting average?
No.
Oh. Well, does it say what position he played?
No.
Oh.
Dexter.
Yes, sir?
Be quiet. Now, as I was saying, this Hans W...
Mr. Archer, if you don't mind me saying so, that's not much of a book you're reading.
Why?
Well, who ever heard of writing a biography of Hans W. Wagner without giving his batting average?
Dexter.
Yes, sir?
It wasn't Hans Wagner! Now, as I was saying...
To give his batting average, he probably wasn't a baseball player at all. He was probably so...
This Hans W. was a roofer in Dusseldorf, Germany. At the age of 37, when in perfectly good health, he suddenly developed dizzy spells.
I'd get dizzy, too, looking down from roofs all day long.
Of course.
Golly, Mom.
Yes, dear?
Do you remember the time we went up to the tower of the state capitol?
Mm-hmm.
If you two ladies are quite through with your travelogue?
Really, Harry. I don't see what the case of this Mr. W. proves. He climbed up on the roof and he got dizzy.
It just so happens that his dizzy spells were psychosomatic and were caused by a deep-seated loathing of his brother-in-law who lived with him. When he was made aware of this, he no longer had any dizzy spells.
And he and his brother-in-law lived happily ever after?
No, he later pushed his brother-in-law off the roof. That's not important.
Well, it was to the brother-in-law.
Don't you see the point, Janet?
Is there one?
Well, certainly there is, and it's very simple. The people with whom one associates can cause psychosomatic ailments. My stiff neck was caused by the neuroses of the people around me.
What particular people do you have in mind?
You, dear, for one. And Corliss. Linda.
Golly, Daddy, what are you going to do? Push us off the roof?
Can't you understand?
Hans Wagner was German. I wonder if he was related to that nutty roofer.
There must be some way to carry on an intelligent conversation around here.
Well, I'm not sure that it's intelligent to call Corliss and Dexter and me neurotic.
What I'm trying to say is that my stiff neck was caused by nervousness, induced by the neuroses of people about me. You, dear, have a deep-seated compulsion toward cleanliness. You feel compelled to clean the house when it doesn't really need cleaning.
I feel compelled to clean house even when some of the people who live here don't know that it needs cleaning.
Please, dear. Corliss, you have a neurotic inhibition that makes you afraid to sing in front of other people.
What about me? Am I nuts, too?
No one here is nuts. But you, Dexter, are laboring under a deep-seated neurotic feeling of guilt. And that's why you're always punishing yourself by hurting yourself by bumping into the furniture.
Well, if we're all that neurotic, maybe you should push us off the roof.
That is a branch of medicine, not murder. Now that you all know the causes of your neuroses, you can cure yourselves if you want to. You can stop bumping into furniture.
How? By staying in bed all day?
No. By facing up to that feeling of guilt instead of burying it deep in your subconscious.
Boy, am I a mess. Guilty, neurotic, and unconscious.
Corliss, if you will just realize that you have an inhibition, you can force yourself to conquer it by singing out whenever and wherever you want to.
And what about me, Dr. Dusseldorf? What should I do? Get a job as a roofer with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
You can cure yourself very simply, Janet, now that you know what the cause of your neurosis is. Conquer your neurotic compulsion toward cleanliness, and you'll be a happy woman.
I'm a happy woman now.
You don't think I know what I'm talking about, do you? You don't think I know anything about psychosomatics. Well, it just so happens that I cured my own case. Look.
Golly.
Holy cow.
Harry, did it ever occur to you the stiff necks don't last forever and yours might just have gone away all by itself?
Go ahead, laugh. They laughed at Isaac Newton.
Sure. And he went right ahead and invented the Fig Newton.
Golly, Daddy, do you think I could really stop being embarrassed about singing?
Certainly, all you have to do is sing. Anytime, any place, just tell yourself you can do it and do it.
Oh, Harry, really?
Go ahead, laugh. And while you're laughing, I'll go over and see Bill. I owe him a vote of thanks.
You know, this might be worth trying if there's a chance I can stop bumping into furniture.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, your father says I feel guilty. So I figure I got to take a certain amount of punishment to punish myself for whatever it is I feel guilty of. So the sooner I get the punishment over with, the sooner I can stop feeling guilty. So I'm going to get over with as fast as possible, starting right now.
I feel like singing, so I'm going to sing. I dream of Edie with a light brown hair, born like a babe.
And now, back to Meet Corliss Archer.
I dream of Jeannie with a light, born like a babe. I see her dripping with a bright spring, happy as the daisies that dance on her way. Hi, Daddy. Many were the fly birds that
Oh, hiya, Mr. Archer.
Ouch! What in the world is going on here?
How do you mean?
With the
Well, have you all gone crazy?
No, we're stopping being crazy.
Sure, Daddy. We're just doing what you told us to do. Dexter's getting all his punishment and to stop feeling guilty, and I'm losing my inhibitions about singing by singing.
I see.
I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair.
And
I see her
who is this charming, impeccable lady?
This is what you wanted us to do, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
You wouldn't want us to give you another stiff neck.
No, but... Well...
Many were the and that merry voice would call. Many were the fly birds that I dream of Jeannie with the light hair on the song.
Well, I'm going out and get something to eat.
Mrs. Archer really has Mr. Archer puzzled. What he doesn't understand is that there is only one way to understand women, and nobody understands what it is. Understand?
Will you please stand still?
You and your talk about psychosomatics, it's your fault that Janet is playing this game.
Game?
Sure, she's not serious. She doesn't like Corliss and Dexter's shenanigans any better than I do. She's simply trying to get me to eat my words and admit I didn't know what I was talking about.
Why don't you admit it?
Yeah, I gotta save face. Oh, come on, Bill, you got me onto this spot, now get me off.
I'm not admitting this is all my fault, but I think I know how you can get clear.
You do?
Yep.
Well, how?
How?
Oh, Bill. Now, come on, tell me, what did I do?
Well, Harry, it's all very simple. You can get your household back to normal and not eat your words. Just go home and pretend that you've got a stiff neck.
Well, what'll that do?
Look, this all started with a stiff neck. You said you cured it. You can end it with a stiff neck. It'll prove that you're not an expert on psychosomatic medicine. That'll show them your advice was wrong, and they should go back to acting normally.
Yeah. Yeah, that might work.
It'll work.
Ah, Bill, you're a pal.
Yes, I'm a real live doll.
Yeah, you're a doll, all right. Yeah. No, but this better work. Or you won't say mama, you'll say uncle.
Mr. Archer shouldn't be angry at Mr. Franklin. His advice was good. Of course, it wasn't perfect. There's only one perfect piece of advice for one friend to give another. Give it and you'll never get in trouble. And you can say it in 3 words. Don't ask me.
Well, Corliss, how'd you make out?
I was lucky to come out alive. They said if I sang with them, there'd be no glee in the glee club.
Oh, dear, what a shame.
Oh, I don't really mind. There are plenty of other things I can do. Besides, I learned something at that tryout.
What?
Well, the reason I didn't make the glee club wasn't because of any inhibitions. It's just because I'm a rotten singer.
Well, that could be.
I think I'll just stop trying to sing. Come on, Dexter, let's go get something to eat.
Okay. Ouch! Well, that does it.
Does what?
Well, I've been thinking, Mrs. Archer. Now, I didn't bump into that coffee table on purpose.
Oh?
No. And what I've been thinking about is this. You know, I punish myself enough without even trying. I'm not guilty of anything. I'm just plain clumsy. Me guilty? I'm as innocent as a newborn babe. Ba, da, da, mama, gaga, ma.
Dexter.
Well, anyway, why don't we just quit this psycho slam bang dicks?
Well, I don't know, Dexter. Daddy thinks it's a good idea, and I don't want to hurt his feelings.
Me neither.
He's so sweet.
Well, not only that, I want to stay on the good side of him. When we get married, we may want to live here.
Oh, wait. Don't stop quite yet.
But, Mom, you don't want me to keep on yowling around the house, and you don't want Dexter to keep on slamming into the furniture.
No, but I have an idea. It won't have to keep up much longer. Go ahead, kids. Go into the attic. Go on.
Oh, dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair.
Corliss. Please. And Dexter, if you don't mind, would you?
Oh!
I don't.
What's the trouble, dear?
Stiff neck. Well, maybe I'm not ready to start practicing psychiatry yet. I mean, seeing as how I didn't manage to get rid of my stiff neck. But there was nothing wrong with the theories I expressed, you understand?
Oh, dear, of course not.
So let me think about your problems a little bit more. And in the meanwhile, I think it would be all right if you were to go back to acting as you did before.
Well, if you think it'll be all right.
I think so.
You mean I can stop beating myself to a pulp?
Oh, yes.
Hallelujah. Come here, Corliss. Now I'll take you down to the drugstore and buy you a soda. And me a bottle of liniment.
Then I suppose it'll be all right if I clean up this mess.
Oh, sure, go right ahead.
You won't think I'm neurotic.
No.
Then I'll get the vacuum.
I'm still not convinced this stiff neck isn't psychosomatic.
Well, this liniment can't do you any harm. There. That does it? Don't you think you better get some sleep?
When I finish this chapter.
Must you? Don't you think that liniment will cure your stiff neck?
Well, frankly, Janet, no, I don't. I still think that psychosomatic...